Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm Reenie and this is the Enchanted Planner. Today I'm planning for the week of November 15th to the 21st in my classic vertical catch-all. I have pulled out a few sticker books. I've pulled out the Flowers sticker book, I have pulled out Mojo Jojo's boxes, and I have pulled out Sophisticated Florals because I felt that the boxes in there would complement the leaves that I want to use from the Flowers book quite well. So I just went to grab some washi and we're all going to get set up here. So the leaves I'm thinking about using are these browns and I don't know, rusty browns. They're quite pretty. I used them last year in a spread as well. So we're just getting them out and onto the wax paper. And I had a terrible time trying to get some of these stickers up off of that sheet. They just did not want to come up. That was one of them. Oh my God. The struggle is real, right? When we're literally fighting with sticker books. So we're just collecting all of the leaves and getting everything ready to start the plan with me. Oh, it's hot. I have to take off my jacket, gang. I'm a little hot over here. The hot flashes are back. So I'm just deciding which florals I want to use. Now we're on the hunt for some books. So I brought out neutral boxes first because I thought they would be a nice complement. But then I went into the Autumn Florals book and the dark cranberry and the cranberry within that book was a much better fit. So we shifted gears a little bit and decided to go a little bit of a different direction. So I'm grabbing those sort of pinky peach tan colored boxes is the plan to match them up with the florals, the leaves from the Flowers book. So I did pull out one of the the neutral boxes for the sidebar, but then when I went back into the cranberries, I decided no, yeah, definitely that was the direction we were going. So we're just going to set up the sidebar here shortly, and I'm looking for a quote. Now, Sophisticated Florals didn't really have anything that worked for what I was looking for, but what I did go and grab in a second is, again, the Seasonal Fall book, because it's got some great quotes in it, and they fit a little bit better, and they were black too, because I was trying to avoid using foil within this spread, but I did bring in some nice rose gold flowers to sit in amongst the leaves. They're very, very subtle, but they're also really, really pretty. I'm not sure if we'll be able to pick them up in the photos on Instagram. I'm hoping to catch them, but it's really difficult to photograph foil, and I still haven't quite mastered the knack of it. It's quite frustrating because I get all these ideas in my head and then I'm like, but that's foil. I don't want to deal with foil. And, you know, if you're watching planner channels, you hear that a lot because they're extremely difficult to photograph. Oops, sorry, I bumped the mic stand. Okay, so we're just lining up the sidebar and I'm trying to decide if I want to lay the quote over the leaves. I decide against it because you couldn't quite see the quote all that well just from the way the leaves lined up with it. And then, of course, the sidebar didn't go down quite exactly straight, so we have to shift it slightly to get it all lined up. Rolling up the sleeves, we're getting dirty, gang. So we are taking some of the sticky off of these florals because I really want to put them in the bottom. But when I lay them down and then I try the quote over top of them here, you can't really see them all that well. So we go a bit of a different direction. I opt not to put the quote over the flowers and just lay the quote down. And then we're going to lay some of the leaves at the very bottom of the page. Like so. And I'm just trying to figure out exactly how I want to lay them in. Which ones look better. It's ironic, looking at this spread now, I realized that is the only spot I used the lined leaves in the rest of the spread they're all filled in. They're a solid. They're not an outline, they're a solid. So we're lining up the quote. And I'm trying to get it placed because I didn't want the S to sit right on top of or too close to the line for the vertical box. So once we got that shifted, we were off to the races. We're just going to trim off the bottom of this leaf cluster and then white out the line behind it so we can still see the leaves properly. They just present a little bit better when they're not covered up on a line. And I'm just rubbing over them to stick it down to the page and get all of the air bubbles out. Now we're back into the neutral boxes. Now I don't normally ever use checklists, but I'm like, you know what? We're going to try and break the mold here. We're going to try and go a little bit of a different direction and lay my spread out a little bit differently. That was the whole plan for this plan with me. So we laid in a checkbox or checklist. Yeah, like I said, I'm not normally one that uses checklists, but I'm like, all right, well, we're going to do stuff that we don't normally do in this spread. So I pulled out the checklist and I lay one on this side and I lay one on the lower left-hand side of the right-hand page in a second. But now I'm just trying to figure out which boxes. So we go in and we grab some boxes. And we're just pulling out ones that coordinate. And we ended up using 3 colors. I used the lighter cranberry, the darker cranberry, and then that sort of peachy tan color. Which is funny because I didn't mean to. I meant to just use the lighter cranberry, but because it's really bright underneath the the ring lights and all the lights, yeah, I didn't realize I was pulling different colors, but it's worked out great. So I will not complain. This one, that peachy colored box on the right hand side does not survive. It comes up and down so many times, and those stickers are, I don't know, they're a weird type of paper and they're not as forgiving with moving them as some of the other Happy Planner boxes are. So I tried to salvage it, but in the end, it ended up in the garbage. And we just went and got a new one out of another book because I have 3 Sophisticated Florals. 2 I bought, but one came in, they came originally in a Be Happy box, and one of my books was damaged. So I ended up having Happy Planner send me out a replacement book. Not a bad gig. I'd really just been looking for a replacement sheet, and they sent me a whole new book. I thought that was pretty dang cool of them. So now we begin the process of trying to figure out where we are going to lay things. I have my basic box clusters onto the page. So I thought, well, let's try this. And then we're going in for some decor. And I'm trying to line that leafy structure up along this box in a placement that I'm satisfied with. And then we ended up giving him a little bit of a trim job. He got a haircut. He got my haircut. Although that's not really a haircut. What I really consider a haircut is one that's all the white surrounding the stickers. I don't like that much white. There we go. We're just getting them laid underneath. And then I discover I don't really like the fact that you can still see the leaves through the box. So in the end, I end up going in and trimming out the leaves from underneath the box because they're quite visible through the box. And I was like, what? That doesn't work. I wanted it to lay underneath, and I was trying to cheat, man. I was trying not to have to trim all the stickers, and I ended up having to trim them anyways, which is kind of annoying, but it is what it is. And then pulling out this Signo. The Uniball Signo is the bomb.com. And then we're just using that to white out from the lines behind the clear stickers. And here we're now starting to go to work on the right-hand side. Now, the right-hand side, in the end, it looks a little bit different in this plan with me than it does from Instagram. So if you want to see the final little teeny tiny changes, go and check out my Instagram feed today. And it will be up there. I shifted some things around because when I went to take the photos, I realized that it wasn't particularly balanced on the right hand side. I didn't like the way it looked. So I ended up adding in an additional box, and I shifted some of the leaf structures to a different place on the spread. I mean, it's not a monumental difference between the two spreads, but there is a slight difference. Yeah, see, this is where this box is this whole thing is just going down the drain. It's just going down the drain. Trying to get the stickers lined up and fighting with the box, and then the box started to peel and it doesn't end up surviving. I finally just get fed up with it and say, screw it. You're going in the trash. We're going to go get a new one. Because it had been up and down so many times, it was not very happy with me. And it was, like I said, the sticker paper they used for these boxes in Sophisticated Florals, they're a different paper and not nearly as forgiving. And this is where it comes up and down a few times here until we finally just decide to call her quits. Yeah, we're adding an additional box on the other side, which I'm not particularly fond of. So it ends up leaving, but in the end, it ends up coming back because I need there. This is where it's going in the trash. Yeah, it's garbage. Then I realize I've used the boxes in this book, so I have to go grab another one from my stash. Once we get this one laid down, it's not too terribly bad, but it was the initial fight with it that was not so good. So I'm just using the Uniball Signo to go in behind the clear stickers, not stickles, the clear stickers to white it out. Now this is where I decide I'm just going to trim it off and leave her be. But I did that before I laid the box down because I wasn't going to run the risk on ruining another box. There we go. We are down for the count, except for the lower one. I have to shift him a little tiny bit because it didn't quite line up the way I wanted it to. I didn't quite trim it. When I went in to trim it, it wasn't fully straight. So I'm like, all right, well, I'll just shift this box a little bit. And that will help because, like I said, I was trying not to do the sticker up, sticker down, sticker up, sticker down. In the end, this plan with me ended up being an hour long. I kid you not. And it's, you know, again, ironic. One of those things where I'm like, bam, I got an idea in mind. I got the colors picked out. I mean, granted, I did switch up the colors a little bit, but I'm like, this should be a rock and roll show. Like, bam, 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 done. No, it didn't. It didn't happen like that at all. Finally realized about, I don't know, 30 minutes in, I'm like, okay, this is going to be a voiceover. So I don't really have to worry about, you know, making a lot of noise in the background. And yeah, it's been one of those mornings. It's Friday though. Not, you know, that means terribly much. Every day is Friday right now because I'm not really working all that much. Well, I'm doing tons of content. I'm doing tons of content, but I'm not really like seeing clients or anything at this particular moment in time. So it's not too shabby. Yeah. See, this is where I'm trying to bring balance to the left-hand side. Sorry, I think I've confused left and right a few times in this video, but you know what I'm talking about. I'm not overly happy with the end result on the left-hand side. I'm not going to be, I'm not going to lie, but it's only a week. It will serve its purpose because, again, first and foremost, it has to be functional. That's the key. It has to be functional. So, you know, you don't like a particular spread, that's okay. You deal with it, and then you get to create a new one, and it's a fresh new week. So we're just putting in a little tiny box cluster up at the top here to try and fill in some of that white space. It's funny, I go through phases where I end up wanting tons of white space, and then other times where I'm not really caring about white space, so I go a little bit heavier on decor. What do you guys do when you plan? Like, do you prefer tons of white space, or would you rather have tons of decor? I tend to, I mean, I have a general idea in mind when I sit down to do my spreads, what is on deck for the week, and if I have to have any boxes on any particular days for reminders. But I'm far more a planner that decorates and then works my plans around the decor. But it still, like I said, has to maintain its functionality, or it doesn't serve its purpose. So this is where I bring in these pretty little rose gold flowers from the Sophisticated Florals book. They're so pretty. And then we're just going to white out behind the happy fall. I mean, it's, been fall for a while, but I didn't really find any other quote that worked. So that's what we got. And the other one's family, friends, and food. And I'm like, well, I'm always up for family, friends, and food. The 3 F's. I'm good with that. I mean, granted, it's Thanksgiving month in the States, so I figure it's appropriate. So you can catch the reflection of those little florals in the video, which is great. I'm hoping that they show up on pictures. I find with foils, usually they just end up looking like they're gray or black, but they are pretty. I get to look at them all week. They're super pretty. Who knows, throughout the week I may end up going in and adding a few more here and there once I know a bit better what's on deck. I'm just rubbing all the bubbles out. And it helps them stay down too, because I've been taking a lot of the sticky off of them from using them on, like, putting them on the back of my arm. Sticking them down and rubbing them helps make sure they stay on the page. So I decided to trim up one of the floral pieces I have just to grab a little sprig so I could peek it out of the boxes, the 2 boxes, or box cluster, I guess, in the on the lower right hand side there, because it needed something, but I didn't have room to put anything too large, so I have to just go with a teeny tiny little piece and then put a floral, or actually it's a set of leaves, a rose gold leaves on top of them, and it looks really cute. Oh, I wanted to thank you guys. So you're all amazing. I mean, I can't thank you enough. You guys got me over 100 subscribers, and I continue to grow. So that's awesome, because the way YouTube works, watching my videos helps, but commenting or liking the video tells the YouTube algorithm that the content is good. So it starts getting pushed out to more people on the homepage on YouTube. So yeah, keep it up, you guys. Keep liking the videos and throwing comments down there, because I love to answer your comments too. Like, I love to get to know you guys in the comments and in the DMs on Instagram. So yeah, feel free, comment away. I'd love to hear from you guys. But I wanted to thank you and tell you how much I truly appreciate your help and your support for watching my content. So I just thrown it on the disc to see what it looks like. And it looks pretty dang good. Now here, I shut the video off and then I come back to show you I put some washi on. That's it for me, you guys. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you again soon. Ciao.